Ciao Marta. Hi Kate. Okay. Hi Michael. Just inviting Nick. Me. He should be with us shortly. How are you all? How are you doing? Hi Heather. Hi
Hey,
Bernice. Hello.
hello there.
Hi.
How you
So,
doing? Uh,
right, yeah, you're on the top of our screen. Great. Yay. So, first of all, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to chat with us and to open the doors of your pen room for us. That is
it's a pleasure.
really very appreciated. How are you doing?
Doing well. Doing good. Need a
Good.
haircut.
Okay.
Other than
So
that, I'm doing fine.
okay. Okay. So I think we all need a haircut. Anyways, let me just tell a couple of things just for our audience out there. Hi, everyone. Um, if you see too many comments on the bottom of your screen, just tap once at the center of your screen and that will hide most of the comments, so all but one, so you can have a better view on the screen. Second thing, remember we say it every time, this chat will be recorded, so if you don't want your feed or any comment to be visible, just don't comment, and that's all. Okay, so now to our chat. Sorry for the cat, but she is, yep, yeah, and
Nice to
she's
have.
she is with me all the time. Okay, so now to our chat. Would you first of all tell us how did you become interested in pointed pen, in calligraphy, in penmanship?
Uh,
How?
around about 25 years ago, I guess, 27 years ago, a friend of mine by the name of George Evans was a calligrapher and he did airbrushing and so forth and so on. He had a small studio, and I was hanging out there one afternoon. And I picked up a brochure from Paper and Ink Arts, Brendan Broadbent.
Right.
And back then, it was like 4 sheets of paper
Mm-hmm.
stapled in the corner, and that was about it. So anyway, I'm perusing through it while George is doing his airbrushing, and I see uh, this writing, and a guy named Michael Saul, Prairie Village, Kansas, and I'm looking at it, and I had never seen anything like it in my life. I said, "Oh my God! Well, yeah, George, what's this?" And he gave me a little bit of a background because it's early American penmanship and so forth and so on. So really, without even giving it a thought, the next day I just picked up the phone and I called Michael
Mm-hmm.
directly. And back then he answered his own phone. So he talked to me, I guess, maybe 2 hours that day.
Wow.
All I was a guy on the telephone calling him from Philadelphia, asking, "What is this stuff you've got? What's this crazy pencil with the
Mm-hmm.
thing on the side?" I had no idea what it was. So he explained it, a whole bit of it, as much as we could get into a 3 hour conversation. So I bought his heritage pen holder, and he has some Esterbrook nibs, and some 404s, July 404s,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought one of his books, the smaller book. The volume one had been destroyed in a flood, so we didn't have any of the bound ones, but they had put out the smaller one, so he sent it back to me. And I started, and that's what started me on it.
Wow.
I was getting absolutely nowhere with it, and I got very frustrated. I
Mm-hmm.
picked up the phone again. I said, "Michael, this is driving me crazy. Let me tell you what, send me what you're doing. Send me a letter, and I'll send it back to you with corrections." And I said, "Okay, well, how much, what's your fee for that?" He goes, "No, I just want you to do it. You're interested in it, and I'll just show you what you're doing wrong, and then you can do whatever you want to do.
Wow.
Go beyond that.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I got started with it. I mean, out of the kindness of his heart, he set me on a journey. It's like 25 years. In 1999, when Janine and I bought the house, it's a big old house, and it had an extra bedroom. That's where we're sitting in now, and I turned it into my pen room.
Mm-hmm.
One of the girls that worked for me at the time, her future husband was a furniture maker and cabinet maker.
Mm-hmm.
So it took about a year to do. We put up, the mahogany wainscoting, and we found the schoolhouse lighting, so forth and so on. And you redid the floors, and over a period of time, I met other people involved in the art form and became friendly with them. And it just rolled from there. And I ended up with a good bit of nibs, as you could say.
I know.
Yeah. And behind me here is a bunch of my exemplars that I bought over a period of 20-some years. I bought some from a guy named Del Tisdale and Ross Green, and there was a fella in California that had a scrapbook that was selling it on YouTube or on eBay. And, Janine gave me the blessing, and, I don't drink or anything like that. So she called me the nib hoarder.
No.
So I got nibs from all over the place. Okay.
Everyone is commenting jealous. And
I met a guy from Belgium, and I don't know where he found them at, but a lot of I bought almost everything he had just to get them. They were all pointed pen. I got fascinated with the idea of letters. I'm not an artist kind of a guy that will do projects or what have you. I remember reading somewhere in one of the business educators that the most difficult form of penmanship and writing is a letter to be done really well. And they say that one piece by Zahner was possibly the best bit of cursive writing, whatever you want to call it, that has ever been done. And that just fascinated me. So I would write letters to people. And, sometimes they would write back, sometimes they didn't. Brian Walker was a mentor, and we corresponded for 20 years.
Oh,
so
really?
I've literally got a box that's 3 feet by 2 feet by 3 feet full of his letters. Wow. And over this period of time, I learned from him. I shared a lot of my collection with him, and he used it in his Spencerian group. So I met a lot of people. Brian and Michael Saul, Del Tisdale, those were the fellows that started me off and gave me the push. And I could thank Michael and Del and Brian also for when I did something wrong, or not wrong, but it's hard to say wrong. There's only seven principles in Spencerian to begin with.
Yeah.
Right. So if I would do something totally off the wall, they'd say, "Nick, that's totally off the wall."
Okay, they would point you to the right direction. Yeah.
Absolutely. So.
Okay.
And that's basically how I started, and now I ended up with
how it all started. Okay.
this.
So and then your interest in collecting items, because it's not necessarily the same thing, writing and being able to write and learning to write and collect originals and exemplars, because it can be quite different.
Yeah, what got me was the fact that they were done by a human hand. And also, when you get an actual letter that somebody wrote in 1906 or 1920, and they're actually communicating to another penman, well, you saw what was going on in their noggin at that time.
Okay.
So you kind of got a sense of what life was like. And, one guy will be saying, CPZ came and visited me, CP Zahner. blows showed up unannounced. You know, and there were so many people that were lesser known penmen that I found just as good as the famous guys, but they were all taught by the Zenarian, and there was a fellow there, A.P. Root. He taught at the Pierce Business College in Philadelphia. He actually wrote the book that they taught in schools, and I actually have a copy of the book. Well, he was a member of the Zenarian as well. So just to see the communication that went back 100 years. Mataraz was trying to convince his other penmen to get into a business with him selling fish.
Oh, really?
And, yeah, Mataraz was also an actor. He was an actor.
God.
You kind of get I appreciate what they did, and then you get a little glimpse into their life, and that just fascinated me.
To know them as a human being, and
It wasn't just a piece of history. They breathed, and they had children, and they, had the car payment to worry about and pay the mortgage. And the kid was going to flunk out of school. What are we going to do? And yada yada yada.
Yeah. Okay. So let's dive a little bit into your collection, right? I know you have wonderful pieces, and you have prepared something for us. So let's get started.
All right. I'll start with the perhaps the most unusual and I don't know if valuable is the right word. There's nothing been like it anywhere that I know of. It's let me try it. Is there a way that I can project the front of this so that I can, I'm talking to you through I see you on the top and me on the bottom. Yeah. If I hit this arrow, can I let me see what happens if I hit this arrow. Yes, okay. All right, this I got from a fella. Did he put that on the right one? Yeah.
Oh, by the way, thank you very much, Janine.
Oh, yeah, she's my ace. I mean, if it wasn't for her good graces, I'd be watching football or whatever.
She's a gem. She's a gem.
This is the Lupfer specimen album. Why he did it and who he gave it to, I really don't know. This came to me from a fellow named Ross Green, and he had a tremendous collection of exemplars, and I hooked up with him through Dell. And this is let me show you what the front of the book looks like. This is just a regular book.
Yeah.
And,
so binded, with its spine and everything. Yeah.
The whole bit.
So this is not scraps of papers put together, right?
I don't think so. Dr. Joe and I go back a long ways, but we argue about this, that he thinks that Lupfer may have written them on scraps of paper and then had them bound.
Okay.
I don't think he did. It would be too complicated. And everything is like perfectly centered in the center of the paper. Yeah. So I think he wrote it in the book. I truly do.
Wow.
Now this is his first page. And again, this is done by hand.
Yeah. It's perfection. You know what I mean? It's perfection.
Yeah. And it was in a...
Can you let me ask you something. Can you feel the ink on the page?
Yeah.
Is it iron gall?
Wow. Oh, yeah. It is iron gall. That's what they all used. They used Arnold's writing fluid back then. They didn't. Some of them used the Higgins,
amazing.
But they used the Arnold's writing fluid, and they trimmed it with something. They added something to it. But this is 60 plates.
Wow.
I'm going to give you a close up.
I mean, yeah.
This is what I found fascinating. That this could be done this way.
Absolutely. That is really perfection. I mean, it's so balanced and so...
Absolutely bizarre. And I've uploaded this whole book, or Dr. Joe did. I scanned it, and Dr. Joe trimmed it, and it's on the pages of AMPETH. So if
Someone is
sorry,
Nick. Someone is asking whether that are that book is from Lupfer.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, Lupfer wrote this and gave it to someone.
Okay.
The theme of the book is brides and grooms. Now, I don't know whether he gave it to a friend or a relative or
getting married.
I don't know where.
Okay.
I don't know where Ross got the book from.
Mm-hmm.
I know it didn't come from the Lupfer collection. Someone else had this, as far as I know. But when he offered this to me, with the Platt Roger Spencer letter.
Wow.
And I got both of them. Look at this. Now see how it goes right to the very edge
of the page. But there's really no hesitation in the hand. I mean,
none.
Even on the edges.
Now look at the T.
Wow.
This is the crux of whole arm movement. I mean, that is whole arm movement. You can do it slowly. You really can. I don't have the temperament to go slow when I do this kind of stuff. And Bill used to say it was like cracking a whip. The way you would snap a whip, that's the way you would.
Yeah.
They used to call that throwing.
Yeah. Can you see pen lifts in those swirls?
No.
Or is it just one stroke? All going?
Wow. Where the capital stem starts. Let me hold this up. Right here.
Yeah. Oops. It got frozen. Okay. Switch the camera again. Yeah. There you go.
I got it. Where the capital T starts, which is the top of the capital stem here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It just goes straight down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Around and around and around and around.
And then small loop and
And it all up and he throws a shade there.
Okay.
Across there and up to the top. That's all one stroke.
Wow.
One stroke of the pen.
That
now,
is
even coming
insane.
Coming off of the T, I looked at that under a magnifying glass. There is no lift at the T.
No lift.
So when he came down off the T, and that's what do you call it? Copper plate. The RUST is pretty much a copper plate letter form. He just came right off the bottom of the T into a fine, fine hairline. So, I mean, the way they were able to look at the G in that.
Yeah.
Now, you notice the space between the ovals, right?
It's all balanced. Yeah.
It's all balanced. Everything's balanced. And also at the bottom of the shade, it's flat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not rounded. Same thing there. It's flat. Now, these were done without unlined. These were not lined. So all this was done freehand on a blank sheet of paper. And again, I also looked at it, and the fact that you can see that it's repeatable. This is another page. Again, it's the same letter form.
Yeah,
except
just one swirl less. Yeah,
one swirl less. So you could see that how many kitchen tables he wore around doing this. Now look at this capital O.
Oh my God! It's really looking as if it was printed out.
Exactly, and again, now off of the W, it's got the hairline just going. Now he could have gotten fancy and put a shade there, but that's not what they were about back in those days.
Do you think they could have used guidelines beneath, or is the paper too thick?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. I stuck my own guidelines in it. This is about an
Okay.
80-pound sock, at
Okay.
least.
So, yeah.
It's pretty thick.
Mm-hmm.
But, and again, some of it, if you look at it really critically, it's kind of tiny bit off. Maybe a little bit, maybe a line here and there.
Okay.
But when you look at this B, he makes the capital stem, then he goes out to the beginning
Yeah, they
to
were
here,
machines. Yeah, yeah, indeed, Michael.
and then boom,
Yeah,
one lump, boom.
yeah.
And off of the B, he does that and puts in the cross to the T's without a
Mm-hmm.
penlet.
Yeah.
So he came out of the B and he knew where the E and the TT were going to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it gets to a point where it's kind of like opening a door. When you turn a doorknob,
Mm-hmm.
you don't think about it. And I think
Look
what
at that
happens when you
A.
get to,
Oh my God. Look at that A.
that's what I was going to say. Now the
Wow.
A starts,
From the
the
flourish
A,
and then,
hold
oh no.
on, I'm trying to, this will be easier if I do this. The A starts at the end of the flourish. It starts there,
Mm-hmm. So it's
right?
an
It goes
Italian,
up,
yeah.
shade,
Uh-huh.
goes up this way, crossing around,
Inside, yeah. And
inside it,
and
and
then
again
go up.
shades, goes around, shades it again,
Mm-hmm.
another loop. Now, if you look at the space between this and
It's all,
this,
yeah, equal. Uh-huh.
it's almost equal.
Yeah.
And this is why, you know, this is just years and years and years of pen work.
Learning and yeah.
Right. See another
Wow.
one. Now, this is the kind of thing that sort of fascinates me. If to be able to do,
Oops.
am I doing this all right? Hang on. Now, this is what I call letter writing. This is what lit my fire that day. When I saw somebody able to do this and realized that it was by hand. Look at the consistencies in the
Yeah.
T's
Yeah.
and the T's. And they're
Can
identical.
you turn your phone? Because we are, yeah, that way. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
I have to backpack it out. Okay. Again, switch this around here. Okay. And he was a bit of a poet. Now, I don't know who Coleridge is, but look at that work right there.
Our
That's the
English
person who
friends
wrote this.
could help a bit. Coleridge, I think, was an English poet.
Was it? Okay. But this is a word, you know, flowers are lovely, love is flowers like, friendship is a here. This is where, how he even broke the word apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's HEL, sheltering.
Sheltering.
Like, and we would automatically have gone to the side of the paper. He just put it right there. And the TREE is perfectly in line with where it fits the space. You know?
What is amazing is also, if you look at the page as a whole, the use of black. They really knew where to put swashes or, you know, more ink, and
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I learned. Michael told me a lot of. Michael Salt told me a lot of things. He goes, anybody can throw a shade, but you're good when you know where to put it.
Yeah.
Where to throw it and how thick it should be. And I never got that until I started studying all the samples that I was buying. And then I got to see what he was talking about. Look at the A. Look at the shade of the top of the A and the shade of the exemplar. It's almost exactly the same width, almost exactly the same length. and it just perfectly mates it. The arch of the A
above and below,
balances
yeah.
perfectly with the exit stroke.
Yeah. What's the size of the book?
8.5 by 11, give or take.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, this one, some of them may have gotten into the business educator. Here you have a printer's mark. It says 6 inches. So I have a feeling this may have found its way to whoever was doing a business educator program and found its way in. I have a couple are like that. Yeah. Okay. And the way, here's a very nice B.
Oh.
And again, not one hesitation, not one stroke missing, not one squiggle, you know. Now, these are, he gave A through Z, and he just used different words, like fitness, hopeful, genuine. But all the shades are almost identical. I'm sure he did this with the principality number 1 nib, because the, I look at the I.
Wow.
And again, the curve of the understroke matches the curve of the shade.
Yeah.
So
can you did you ever measure the exits or the dimensions of the letter?
It's too technical for me. I would have liked to, but I don't have the patience for it.
Just curious.
Yeah, I probably should have, and shame on me, but I just saw what he did, and what I did do a lot of was I would put tracing paper. I would use a thin practice paper and just try to find what he did and copy it that way.
Oh my God.
You know, it's just a letter, but my gosh, when you think that this is done by a hand, there's another one with another 6 inch. So this apparently says you cannot hope to make customers of all your friends, but you can go a long way toward making friends of all your customers.
Beautiful.
Again, without all the, without, I call it Spencerian spaghetti. You notice there's very little flourishing and crossing. He kind of kept it simple. And it's all based off of that.
Oh, beautiful.
You see?
That's
this is
cursive,
the basis of cursive lettering.
Wow.
And even this P on here on the end.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's phenomenal. Well, this is why his product, here's another A that I think you'll look to.
Oh, yeah.
And again, that's all in a single stroke.
Oh, I love the crossing bar on the F.
On the F.
So cool.
We put that little, whatever they call that little thingy. Another B. And every word, every page from here down is a letter that is a sentence that begins with the next letter of the alphabet. This is the here, discretion. And there's your D.
So you've both engrossers and Spencerian.
Exactly. And this is what Mataraz did as well. I mean, Mataraz was a wonderful pen, and please don't get me wrong. But there were like, in my mind, there was like 4 top guys. It was Zahner, Bloser, Lupfer, Matty comes in, then Bernsmeyer, and Courtney. Those were the top 5, I guess, in my little brain.
That would have been my question at the end for you. Okay, you mentioned them.
Yes. Yeah. What's the question?
Who were your favorite penmen?
Oh. Truthfully, Berensmeyer.
Okay.
And Berensmeyer and Luffer.
Mm-hmm.
Berensmeyer was, here, there's a G.
Beautiful. Wow.
And I tried my level best to do copperplate. And Dr. Joe sent me his, sheets from his, what he was teaching and whatnot. And I really did try. I just don't have the patience for it. I can't draw things. I can't sit there and draw a letter. It just drove me nuts.
Okay.
So it's just, so Spencerian was about writing.
Yeah.
And I consider this an art form as much as any other art form.
Yeah, sure.
There's a whole
Agree.
thing. Is it art, or is it a craft, or is it handwriting, or is it true art? I would like to see anybody that's an artist, that's an italic guy or whatever, just pick up a pointed pen and try to do this. So I mean, each discipline, I think, has its
Wow.
Now, see the way this S is formed? See that little black dot where the S comes down and connects? That's a trait of Mataraz. What Mataraz would do, he would stop before he hit the ascending stroke of the E. Then he would continue with the S, and then there would be a little space there.
Yeah.
And he would fill it in with that little bump.
Uh-huh.
You see? So that's something that the Zenarian trait, or Zenarian trend. There's another O. That's just absolutely magnificent.
Wow.
Again, there are guys that then they took this to the next level, which they called superscription. And that's where you get into the guys would write back and forth to each other. And they would try to outdo each other, basing off of the main structure, and then go to town with it. That's where you would get the loop-de-loops, and you get all the embellishments that everyone has fallen in love with. But they had to be able to do this first to do the other one well.
Sure.
And fortunately, a lot of the younger teachers that are teaching now, we have some great future penmen coming up. A lot of quite a bit of from Asia and the Philippines. There's so many good penmen out there.
Nick, someone is asking, when was this written? Do we have? Okay, we don't know.
I don't have a date. But I'd say he was in his prime. Lupfer was a guy that was he was a president of the Zenarian for 50 years. So I mean, this was done somewhere at that age.
Okay, so the first decades of 1900, right?
Yeah, I would guess 1920 maybe. I really don't know. He retired, I think. Del Tisdale bought the entire estate from the Lupfer family, and that's where a lot of his stuff came from. Okay. So let me see. There we go. There's another. The way that's just done.
Beautiful.
Again, notice not all of the S's on his Spencerian thing. Notice there's no little dot for the S. So he did it where it had to be done, and it was all continuous. I'm going to look for the thing about the bride and the groom. And this is what makes me think it was done for a couple getting married or somebody that he knew. And this is part of the bride I'm glad your lover is a man whose heart is strong and true, whose love will never fail to fill. And these were written by, this was love for, I don't know if that came from his own heart or, and here's the wedding.
The wedding.
So I think this truly was a labor of love for somebody.
Okay.
And the bridegroom. See? So that's why it makes me believe. Now, at the bottom of this, and where the bridegroom is, it's a quote by a William Merriam Rouse. But again, there's your little 6 inch again.
6 inches.
So that may have gotten published somewhere.
Okay.
Gosh, God, and that's the end of the book. But again, that's 60 plates.
Fabulous.
That is totally, they're one of a kind. And I don't know anyone else that even came close to something like that,
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
That's my number one acquisition over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Next to this.
We need to go slowly to each plate. Here.
Okay. All right. You got it.
People, get ready for some amazing work.
This is 1902. This was copyrighted. And I'll just read this in case you can't see it.
You're slightly off camera, Nick.
Oops.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Perfect.
Published by the National Penman Press, 2003 Broadway.
The National Penman Press. Wow.
That they may have been just the printer. I don't know. Again, this is like 25 years I've been collecting this crazy stuff, and I have never seen
ornate writing.
No, I have no idea.
So it's a volume 1. It could be. There could be a volume 2 around. Do you think?
There could be a volume 25 somewhere.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't know whether this was part of. Like volume 1 could be ornate writing.
A series, yeah.
Volume 2 could be businesshand. Volume 3 could be italic. Volume 4, I don't know.
So
I've never.
Yeah. And I spotted some interesting names on the table of contents.
All right. Now some of these are the
Canaan, Barnett, Berensmeyer,
lesser known that are not known to most people, right? R.W. Ballantyne, E.M. Barler, H.P. Berensmeyer, he's my buddy. E.L. Brown was also known for his flourishing of eagles and whatnot. Burnett, fantastic penman. C.C. Canaan I have his book as well. He was spectacular. He died very young, unfortunately. F.B. Courtney, I've got 16 of his pieces framed throughout the house that I got from Dell. Dakin, W.E. Dennis, Donor, D.H. Farley. Flickinger was a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah.
Yes, Flickinger taught.
G.A. Gaskell.
Yeah. Well, Gaskell was a very pivotal person in all this. His publishing, Mataraz learned from the Gaskell Compendium. But it wasn't a compendium like we call it now. It was basically copy sheets that Gaskell put out, So Gaskell was a huge influence. Very few of his actual pennings are around, of actual penmen. You have this fellow Weisheim. They refer to him as one of the old timers. That's where I kind of get a kick out of it. This was compiled by what were called master penmen in the day. They referred to their sources as being the old guys. Now just think about that. The old timers, So it just kind of makes you think about. There's A.P. Root. Again, he was the fellow that was put together the book for the Pierce School. C.W. Ransom. I have his. He's a phenomenal penman. I have his books as well. C.C. Lester. I have one of his. Lloyd Kelchner. So these are all the people that made things what they are. Here's a Flickinger piece. College of Commerce. Here, 1210 Chestnut Street, Philadelphia. And he was writing to D.T. Ames, Fred Ames. And this is what fascinated me. Enclosed, I send you my check, 100 subscriptions to the Penman's Art Journal. You know, wishing you and the many readers of
Merry
the most
Christmas,
interesting journal. You know, so they kind of were buddies. They were buds.
Yeah.
They didn't have email. So they wrote. They used snail mail. Now here is
Spencer.
Lyman Peace. This is one of Spencer's sons. He's also writing to Ames. Look what he was able to
Look at that F.
Yeah, that wasn't engraved. It wasn't, nobody went back there with a burin and redid it into a copper plate. That was done by a guy with a pencil, with a pen, And again, it explains what they were doing. I want to procure one of the T squares. He wants to buy one of Ames's squares from the Ames School. Here's another one that may not be well known. Farley. D.H. Farley. Now look at it, how they join their letters.
Yeah.
How he connects
DNH and very interesting.
Right, and then the H to the F.
Yeah.
They ran that together. That was their form of impressing. That's how they wanted to blow each other away. That's why I'm so sort of disappointed that folks don't write as much to each other. That the idea of keeping scrapbooks, the idea of scrapbooks, it's kind of hard to, Now this is Tamblin from the Tamblin School on the bottom. Tamblin was very, really, he taught classes by mail. In fact, some of his pen stamps came up for sale. And my friend Shin Law in Nevada, in Las Vegas, she ended up buying one of his original pen stamps.
Really?
Oh, man. Yeah, there was a guy, Charlie Osborne, in California, that had a lot of old pen staffs and nibs and whatnot. And the word got out that Charlie wanted to get rid of them. I told everybody about it. And, he put them out there, and folks either made offers or Charlie asked what he wanted. And I let that got past me. So I had Brian Smith from the Unique Obliques copy it for me. Drove him crazy. He said, "We'll never do it again." I'll show you them. I'll show you when I just show you some of the things.
Yeah.
Here's one of the old timers.
I think we have to speed up a little bit, Nick, because we've got 20 minutes left.
All right. Anyway, you got the idea of what this is.
Yeah.
Now, this book,
and that
I
is
believe,
all
is
beautiful.
all on the Ampeth. It's all on the Ampeth website, because it was copied and it's to Joe or one of the guys. Something interesting. This is from the Harvard Press, Harvard Engraving Press, penmanship class.
Oh.
Look at that.
And these are all girls, right?
Yeah. Well, men weren't taught penmanship back then.
Okay.
They were taught accounting and whatnot, but the girls did. And here is the front cover.
Penmanship. I can't read it.
Yeah. Narcetra, Narctra, N-A-R-E-T-R. But he was the teacher of it. And again, it says penmanship class. And you have the Harvard Engraving Company.
Wow.
The fellow that I bought it from said it came from a Harvard university. This is my dear friend. I got to get him in it.
Ryan
Because without
Walker.
Brian,
Yeah.
Brian, when he passed, I swear I didn't pick up a pen for 6 months. I couldn't do it. I finally got back into getting it back, but he influenced so much. And his wife Marion and his children, they're all wonderful folks. And this is a very old piece. This is from 1906. Again, this is one of the lesser penmen, lesser known. His name is Erwin Mensch, M-E-N-S-C-H. Now, this was the original it's a broadcloth.
It's Christmas greeting?
Yeah, okay. Christmas. So then he had copies made from this. But this is the original work that he did. And this frame is the original frame from 1906.
Oh.
I had friends that own a frame shop and gallery. They rematted it for me because it was all acidy. So that's another old piece from my little collection.
Is that on paper or on vellum?
A vellum. It's vellum.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's that one. Okay, this is a scrapbook that I was able to pick up off of a fella. And
again, off camera, Nick.
I know. Right. Oops.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now this is postmarked 1894.
Albany. Okay.
Albany
Business College.
To Hovey. This album belonged to Hovey.
Okay.
Who Hovey was and why these folks wrote to him, I have no idea. But if you look at the dates.
Wow.
And this one is.
I mean that is art.
1925.
Sure. Yeah, that's not writing. That's art. To me, that's an art. Yeah, that's an art.
This is from the Western Penman. This is from 1893. Look at that. That's just spectacular.
Wow. Look at that stroke. Wow.
And again, no hesitation.
Yeah.
None. Here's this was written by Lupfer. Clarence O'Malley was a student of his. Clarence O'Malley, Blacksburg, Virginia. Lupfer, Cenarian College, Columbus, Ohio. So that I have a few of those that Lupfer sent out to people. This was sent to J.A. Francis. He lived a good long time. I have a couple pieces of his as well. But these were all penned by Lupfer to these guys that were students of the Cenarian.
Okay.
So, Hurlbut is another old timer, and you could see how he did that.
So beautiful.
And everything. Now, what I like especially about business cards is they were also written without a line. There was no guideline on the business card. When they would sit down, they would just sit down and do it. And it would always be dead center and it would always be straight. And quite a few of these are bird flourishes. And again, I was going to flip through these.
Oh,
this was done by Miss Song, J.W. Smith. This could have been from the SM. Yeah, this is from the SM Smith collection that I bought quite a few pieces from.
Okay.
Here, this is at E. Browning. That's part of what he did. That was his style on that. These are exercises that the guys used to do.
Warm up.
So
yeah.
believe me, everybody exercised. Everybody.
Wow.
And this is a M.B. Moore. He was probably one of the better flourishers. Well on the equal to Courtney. But not many folks have heard of M.B. Moore unless you study this stuff. Maybe some do, I don't know. But they're hard to find, they're hard to come by. What I want to do, I want to go around the room and show you what I have
Sure.
here.
Because we've got 10 minutes, Nick. So
okay.
yeah.
I want to make it quick. If I can. Okay. This is from the Pierce Business College. This is from 1886. And W.E. Dennis did the actual bird there. That was printed, and then Pierce and this thing on the bottom here was done by the actual student. This is a piece by J.A. Francis, and this is a famous piece by Mataraz that Francis was taught by Mataraz.
Oh.
So this is one of the Mataraz style. This is another one of Francis. This is 1910.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As you can see. Look at the
front lap fur. Uh-huh.
Right. Exactly. Now this I got from an auction house, Freeman's Auction House. That's dated 1862, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And again, no one in particular. This is Lupfer's Count That They Lost. That's my favorite saying. That's Lupfer's wallet that had his business cards in it.
Okay.
This is a Courtney Flourish, 11 by 14. This was done in 1927. And this is another.
Someone's getting excited out there.
Jeez.
That's Courtney, yeah.
Jeez. Another Courtney.
Jeez. Yeah.
Okay. And I got to throw in a little commercial for Nick. That was my first class that I ever taught for PCA. Yeah. This is a Spencerian salesman's card, and it shows you all the different stages. Mm-hmm. This is pretty neat that it shows all the different stages, as well as a huge selection of the pointed pens that they did.
Mm-hmm.
This grouping of pens are from Philip Poole and Davinia Chapman. I don't know if she's still writing. When Jean and I got married, Jean wanted to get me something pen-wise, and it was hard in America. So I had been purchasing from Mr. Poole, and he was able to get that. She got a selection through Davinia of a lot of English nibs.
Okay.
This is by John D. Colibus, and it's, writing is of all the arts most universally accepted to be that which is the most useful to society. This is an early Jake Weidman. He did that for me a while back.
Uh-huh.
This is a letter from Michael Sull that I have it framed, and this will be on my my tombstone, I hope. Uh-huh. This was one of the finest things I ever got. And this is way back in 1997. So I had only been doing Spencerian for a couple of years.
Uh-huh.
This is a letter from a by Platt Spencer, P.R. Spencer Sr.
Mm-hmm.
This was in 1863. This I won at an auction in a Americana.
Mm-hmm.
And he was writing it to a Mr. Prentice. They were talking about something to do with the slavery issue. Mm-hmm. These are 3 letters by Burnsmeyer. And okay. And this is from the Musselman's President, the Musselman College. This is a flourish also by Burnsmeyer. I got that from Don Tate, I think.
Okay, we've got 6 minutes, Nick. So I would ask you. No. Okay. Wait. I would ask you just one favor. If sure. I know you have one of the first oblique pen holders that were produced, and that
it's a Spencerian.
That would be awesome if you could show it to us.
Hold on. In here somewhere.
Okay, you guys don't know what's in that box. He handles everything like it was a just a pen, but it's not just a pen.
There's tools, kind of.
It's amazing holders in there.
There's a Musselman, and these are the Zenarian shorts.
I would be so scared.
The last thing, it's a Zenarian long. I like the long staff myself. This is, this is the Papa and baby brother. They're both Zenarians. But this is the first. Put this down. This is a very early Spencerian.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
Now this, I need two hands for this. Hold it for me. Getting Janine in here so I can move this. You see more on that. Yes.
So is the flange removable?
No.
Okay.
There we go. It's just hinged.
Okay.
And it's hard to do it with one finger.
Oh, right. Oh my God, that's
you can
genius.
Can adjust it either way. And this is also the similar to the Zenarian Excelsior.
Uh-huh.
That was the least expensive pen made by.
I want one of those flanges. Oh my God.
This is the really early. These are early Zenarians. These are stamped 1864 on the flange. So
the second half of 1800, yeah.
Yep. So this is the Spencerian is, I think, the oldest one I have.
They're in amazing conditions. I mean, the wood is just perfect, and yeah.
And this is an unusual pen set. See, it's square, triangular.
Triangular, okay, yeah. I think Chris Yoke has something like that. He showed us something, yeah. Triangular.
It is. Some folks that like it, I particularly, for mine, I've tried all these other new ones that are coming out. I just didn't have the.
Okay, we've got just 2 minutes. We are at the 2 minutes countdown, so
2 minutes down.
Switch the camera again to your face.
Sure you want that? After looking at a lot of good stuff, and you want to see my face?
Go ahead. I just want to say bye-bye properly, and thank you so much. I guess, yeah, it was so kind of you to let us in your pen room and show us so many amazing items. What to say? Thanks again. I hope everybody enjoyed the chat tonight and the tour, because this was a real treat for us. And well, we've got 1 minute.
Let me close with this. If you want to see, I've uploaded a lot of things to Nikki D49 on Instagram, and I believe in sharing it. Me having it by myself, what good is that? So look on the Nikki D49 and look at my photos that I've uploaded, and they're scans, most of them, and you'll be able to see some of the stuff we did, some of the pen staffs, a little bit. If anyone really wants to get a better look and study, download them if you can. Also on YouTube, on Facebook. Facebook, rather. I've uploaded a lot to Facebook as well.
Okay. We'll be sure to re-share every information. And thank you so much. 15 seconds. So time to say goodbye. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Good old.